got a couple homies love me, couple homies hate me, couple motherfuckers wanna fade me, but they hella shaky. This ain't Parker Brothers, I ain't playing. Move, just let me land. I'm on YouTube chasing all these bands. That's the master plan. Teach a couple lessons, then expand. Can't no go ahead. Reaching people all in Bethlehem. Damn. Reaching people all in Bethlehem. Now, when you're locked up, you confined to a 9x10 or a 6x12, something like that. I forgot the exact measurements, but you're confined to a very small spot. Usually this spot contains all your worldly possessions. Everything that you hold near and dear to you is in this spot. Most inmates that have been locked up for long periods of time, they treat their cell like their apartment. They keep it clean. They keep it so clean, some of these places, you can eat off the floor. Now, often what the correctional officers will do is they'll do cell searches. Usually when they do the cell searches, you know, they're supposed to come in, search your stuff, you know, leave your stuff organized in a respectful way. 9 times out of 10, when they come in, they tear your stuff to pieces. Stuff comes up missing and COs act like they don't know what happened. Now, I'm gonna tell you one thing that's the fastest way to get yourself hit in California prisons is to mess with somebody's property. You know what I mean? You mess with somebody's property, stealing, or how these COs do, come in and shake down your cell and mess up all your stuff and take your personal belongings. That's one of the fastest ways for you to get hit. And that's a little story that I'm about to get into right now. We're about to actually react to a video of 276 inmates attacking 8 correctional officers. I think those numbers are inflated, but let's get into the story and let's see what this dude is talking about. Let's get it.
So what happened at Ironwood State Prison, that's a level 3 facility in Blythe, California, Southern California. On January 31st, 2024, at approximately 10:07 hours, 2 members of the Investigative Services Unit, ISU, were conducting a cell search of a cell, which is normal routine. Sometimes they get information that an inmate may be in possession of contraband, or they just do a random search.
So let me explain that. If the ISU comes, the goon squad, this ain't no random search. This is a targeted search. The goon squad come in there, they know what they coming for and they know what they finna go do. So usually when the goon squad come in and search your cell, they tear it to pieces. They destroy your property, completely disrespect you, bring dogs up in there, walk the dogs all up on your bed. You come back in, there's footprints all on your covers. Everything is ripped up. Something's missing. You know, some items broke. You just don't know, man. Like if you would have had 2 to 3 blankets, they're gonna take your blankets, take your extra clothes, take everything. They completely disrespect you. But if the ISU comes, it's not a random search, it is targeted. All right, let's roll.
Well, at that time, there was a full yard of inmates outside. So from inside sources that have relayed information to me, there's 5 buildings on the yard, but one of the buildings was inactive, meaning it's empty of inmates. The other 4 buildings each house 200 inmates each. So that's 800 inmates on the yard. That day, there was approximately 8 officers on that yard. So you can see that ratio.
So it's 100 to 1.
8. During the course of the officer's search, it appears they found some contraband. They had the inmate placed in handcuffs and were escorting him to the medical, which is common practice. They usually have to get a medical evaluation done prior to getting placed in administrative segregation, ADSEG. During the course of the escort, right when they were in the middle of the yard, the inmate headbutted the officer, one of the officers, and kicked another officer, which resulted in the officers utilizing physical force and forcing the inmate to the ground. In other words, slamming him to the ground. Once, I gotta make a notation on this, that inmate that was slammed was part of the Sureño gang on behalf of the Mexican mafia.
Oh, so they all finna go.
The street soldiers, the soldiers for the Mexican mafia. There is a common rule amongst themselves that if one Southern Hispanic gang member gets involved in any altercation with any correctional officer or
They all
any
gotta
other
go.
gang faction, they are all to assist without delay. And that's exactly what happened.
And they're gonna assist, no questions asked. We'll figure this out later. So in essence, as soon as that inmate headbutted the officer and then kicked the other one, the officer slammed him to the floor. In essence, he just got all of the rest of the Hispanic inmates on that yard in a wreck with the police. They're supposed to all come. You know what I mean? They're supposed to come. Let's see what happened.
It kicked off. One inmate initiated a massive staff assault. That's what we call a staff assault, and encouraged everybody to jump up and assist. So at the time, there were 276 inmates rushed those officers on scene and began to beat them with their fists, their feet. There was rocks the size of softballs that they were utilizing, hitting the officer, hit a sergeant in the back of the head. So that's scary when you have 200 plus inmates swarming you and assaulting you. Technically, that is a lethal force, deadly force scenario, which in turn, the observation officer in the tower did utilize the Ruger Mini 14.
And let me just interject right now and say something too, because for that inmate to take it that far, knowing that it was going to crack off, knowing the policies, knowing the rules and how this is going to end, he had to have felt very disrespected by those COs when they conducted the cell search on his cell. You know, either that or he's just ridiculous.
Rifle, which is a lethal rifle chambered in .223, did fire a warning shot. It appeared to stop them for a moment, but I've been involved in numerous incidents like this. The technique they use, they'll get down and then they'll just jump back up and resume. They'll get down. It's like a wildfire, just sparking up and down until they're finally tired, until they're finally done. They called numerous medevac helicopters for the correctional peace officers due to their injuries, numerous ambulances. So basically it was a mass casualty situation, which is usually normal when it comes to these type of assaults with the magnitude. The problem, well, there's numerous problems. The problem is we, as the California Department of Corrections, have an alarm response policy, right? And that in itself is confidential information. However, it requires the next adjacent yard, the next adjacent facility to assist if something major, such as a Code 3 riot or staff assault, were to occur.
Of course.
Well, that yard
was... Of course. And not only that, I've seen instances where other institutions had to get involved because the situation or whatever was going on was way out of hand, and they had to call other institutions, which once that happens, all the other institutions are going on lockdown. COs from those institutions will get to the other institution as fast as they can. That does happen rarely, but that does happen. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time, they have enough staff on that actual prison yard to take care of the situation. But in extreme situations, they will call other prisons to come assist.
Completely empty. So there's no help that was coming. Their first and immediate help that was right next door was not there. A problem with this is one of the reasons why I left the California Department of Corrections is because how unsafe it has become. There is such a push to run program. No matter the devastating low staffing levels, they still want you to run a full yard full of inmates, day room, canteen, because you have to realize that a prison is like a little city. There's things have to get done.
Yeah.
But safety and security has gone completely out the window. And this is just one of many to come. and all the officers have been reaching out to me and voicing their concerns over these type of assaults. So the California Department of Corrections at one point in time had 33 prisons, all the way from Pelican Bay State Prison, which is on the border of Oregon in Northern California, all the way down to Ironwood, which is the southernmost prison. And so 33 in between. However, the headquarters, the brains of the operation are stationed out of Sacramento. Those administrators and managers have been in Sacramento for far too long and removed from the actual prison yards and buildings that they don't have a clue of what is transpiring at the ground level.
Let me try to explain this a little bit, right? So basically what he's saying is, due to low staffing levels, the California corrections, they like to leave the inmates on lockdown for long periods of times. Just, man, like I said, I've been in there for, they say you're supposed to get your shower. I've been in there when we've been denied showers, we've been denied mail, yard, medical. Man, so many things are going on behind those walls that people don't know about. Now, as the course has went on, a lot of inmates have filed lawsuits. A lot of things have been coming out, of course, with the new phones and all this contraband, and people are able to actually document this, discussing things that happens to these inmates in there. You know, they are inmates. They are in there being punished for what they did. They're doing their time, but as they do their time, they don't have to be treated like animals or less than human, you know? So that's why right now, Sacramento at the CDCR top levels are making them implement yard. They're making them give you more stuff. They're making them give you more, what's the word I'm looking for? More activities, more access to things like programs, colleges, more things like that on all the yards, not just the privileged yards. You know, you got to give this to the other inmates too, you know? So that's basically what this is. And obviously, is it going to work out? No. The more that they are out, the more violence is going to happen. The more these programs that you institute, it's just going to be too many people intermingling, too many more chances for disagreements to happen. And then once disagreements happen, then usually things crack off. So I understand both sides, but there has to be a common solution.
Not only do they have a clue, they don't care. They don't. There's a push. You can Google the California model. The California model is something that somebody up there in Sacramento, coming from Governor Newsom, not wants, because it's happening already. He wants the California Department of Corrections to emulate the correctional system in Norway, the country of Norway. So they actually send
no way.
managers and employees to Norway on taxpayers' money to go tour their prisons. And the way they operate over there is like college dorm rooms, nice comfy beds. The officers and the inmates shake hands and hug and high five each other, and it's like a friendly thing. However, I have 16 years of experience working in the California Department of Corrections as an officer, a sergeant, and a lieutenant. And California is definitely not Norway. I mentioned some of the gangs already. The Sureños, the Norteños, those are the Northern Hispanics, the Bloods, the Crips, the Bulldogs, the Bay Area inmates, the Mexican Mafia, the Nuestra Familia, the Black Guerrilla Family, the Aryan Brotherhood. The politics in California moves so different and is so violent that it is even more violent than any other state in the United States when it comes
now, see, I know that. I mean, I don't know the numbers on that either. I just know, I'm just going off from what I see. What I'm seeing on Instagram and YouTube, California is not as violent as some of them other prisons. More structured, more organized. When they come to get you, are they gonna get you up out here? Yes. But man, if you look at some of them prisons like where them DC blacks be at, or like that prison in Georgia, where that riot just cracked off, or even Angola. I mean, there are some other wild states where they prisons go crazy. I mean, they might not have 32 prisons, so, you know, they don't have like the extreme numbers that we have, but the few prisons that some of these places do have are extremely violent. I would like to see, I might do a video comparing them and see which ones are more violent actually, because man, some of the videos I see coming out of DC, Atlanta, you know, Virginia, man, I don't see that type of stuff in California prisons ever.
Prison system. What's happening is you have these young, inexperienced officers coming straight from the streets. I mean, 21-year-old kids. They do not have a clue as to what they have just gotten themselves into.
Nope.
They are going into the department fully entrusting their leadership, when their leadership definitely does not have their best interest in mind and will sacrifice their safety. I've seen it over and over again. There's a reason why I resigned, in order to further push the agenda of the California model. You know, let me be the one to tell you, they recently changed, Governor Newsom recently changed San Quentin State Prison. He just changed the name to San Quentin Rehabilitation Center in an attempt to dissuade the masses and make it believe that it's something, but it's the same exact prison. However, something I have never seen in my entire career that is extremely dangerous is they are now playing sports, forcing the officers to play sports against the inmates. Basketball.
I ain't never seen this. I don't know. Hey, if anybody else has been on the yard and y'all seen this action, I've never seen this happen. Never. I don't know what this is he talking about right here. Inmates versus the guards. This ain't, what's the longest yard? What are you talking about?
Ball games, softball games, pickleball. As a matter of fact, in Salinas Valley State Prison, they got the most problematic child inmate with numerous staff assaults to play a game of foosball. You know, the foosball table with the little soccer players. The following day, he came out and stabbed one of the officers with a pen. That's how much of a failure this program is.
I mean, I gotta believe him. I never heard of that, inmates playing foosball with the, I don't know, you know what I mean? I guess they do got a bunch of new stuff going on nowadays, you know, so a lot of things have changed. A lot of institutions are implementing programs and trying to actually rehabilitate people, you know. This is after years of lawsuits, years of, you know, them just locking people up, and everyone knows that the California Rehabilitation Center is no place, or not rehabilitation center, but everybody knows that the California Department of Corrections is not a place where you're gonna be rehabilitated at. You know, you're gonna get worse. Now they're trying to put programs in and implement things that say that, hey, we are doing rehabilitation, you know, which I'm all for, because people do need to be able to get their education, maybe get a couple degrees while you're in there, get some welding certificates, you know, learn how to work on cars, learn how to do electric work, learn how to do plumbing, things like that. You know, some of those programs are now starting to be available to inmates. So when they get out, even though like when you get out, what's the chances that you're gonna go straight to a plumbing or electrician job? They're gonna see that you just got paroled from prison and they're gonna hire you. The chances are slim to none unless you know someone in that industry that can get you pulled in besides your record, you know, so that's another downside to that. All right, well, you know what this is, man. This is Blue Cheese Entertainment. This the Unchained Podcast, man. Hit that like, comment, and subscribe to let me know that you mess with me. Let's get it.